My name is Aaron Jones and I'm an assistant engineer in the flood risk management team. So I chose to do the graduate scheme in RCT. It was ideal. The salary was really good. That was like pretty decent compared to others in the area. The opportunities then to have day release and to do further studies with project management course. And then there was just really good help on hand and training that was available to just get more experience. So I've been in my role now coming up to 3 years that I've been with RCT. Started off as a graduate and then moved up to assistant engineer.
So my name is Owen Griffiths and my title is the Flood, Water and Tip Risk Manager for Rhondda Cynon Taf County Borough Council. When we're looking at recruitment and the type of skills we're looking for in new colleagues, new people from external, we're looking for a range of skills. So our job can be very technical, but it's also very people focused. So you've got to have good communication skills. You could be able to work with a range of people in our communities, right the way through to children interested, right the way up to grandparents, parents and anyone in between. So being able to listen, to understand what people are telling you, whether it's technical or non-technical, and have that conversation and feed through. So communication is a really big part of it. Other skills that we look for is ability to work well in a team. So there's about 12 staff in the flood risk management team so far with different skills, experience and levels. What we need to be able to do is work well with all of those, and that's really to learn and gather knowledge and develop yourself, but also feed in. The team's really changing every year, new legislation, new technical standards. What people know to be existing now may not be in a couple of months' time. So it's good to have that fresh dialogue, correspondence, but also be able to learn and develop from it.
So qualifications for my job that you require, I've got a degree in civil engineering, a BSc honours, and then previous to that I've got 4 A-levels, so I did engineering, Welsh Bac, geography and then art and design. And then to get into them I did sort of the core GCSE subjects, then I did maths, English and I did triple science with engineering. All needed B or above grades to get in.
So what qualifications you need for the team, it can be quite varied. So in my current role, you need a degree level as an essential requirement, but we've got roles right the way down from the apprenticeship through to senior technicians, we've got a graduate role, so it really can be flexible. It's for people just leaving school for the apprenticeship, people with limited experience and getting their first step into the career, as well as those who've gone through university, whether it's HNC, so higher national certificates, diplomas, right the way to degrees, and the scale in the team then facilitates each of those roles. So it depends which way you want to go through to it.
So we're in Pentre, up in the Rhondda Valleys. We're up at one of the big flood alleviation schemes that we're working on behalf of NRW. And this is a project that we've been working on since September of last year, following the damage from Storm Dennis in February of 2020. So this inlet has been upgraded following the damage from Storm Dennis. 2 wing walls and the inlet collapsed on themselves, and the grill succumbed to woody debris that came down from the channel above in the watercourse. So behind us we have now created a wider channel all the way up for approximately 40 metres. The channel is now precast concrete units and a precast concrete head wall with bespoke manufactured 2-step grill. The top end we've got natural weir coming down through the bedrock. We've used the natural levels of the bedrock to give us the actual finished level into the culvert itself. There's 2 rows of gabion baskets either side that are then retaining the embankments and preventing any further scour from the watercourse. The brick structure you can see with the grill, that is a secondary overflow system. So if the grill, the main one, was to block up with debris, this would then take the water bypassed around through a new culvert network and then back into the original culvert further downstream. So following the damage that Storm Dennis did, the debris that came down and blocked the inlet structure, that affected over 100 properties that were fully internally flooded down in the lower Pentre Valley. And this has prompted RCT then to design a new inlet that is future-proofed and reduces the risk of flooding in future by helping easier access and easier maintenance when the culvert does need to be cleared out and the watercourse is in high flow. So this land is Natural Resources Wales land, but RCT, working with NRW, have come together to produce this scheme and to upgrade this watercourse and inlet to reduce the further risk of flooding in the future. So at the top level this is the natural waterfall and the watercourse coming down across the bedrock. We come in then to a concrete base with an upstand grill that is to the first stage of catching debris, larger trees. Secondary coming down then, we've got natural weirs in the watercourse made out of the bedrock, supported either side with the gabion baskets retaining the walls and retaining all the material either side and prevent scour. And then moving downstream, there's another concrete base into the precast concrete walls with a twin stage grill going into the culvert entrance and then going into the culvert all the way down that leads all the way into the bottom of Pentra. So the project isn't quite finished yet. We've still got a few subcontractors coming in to do small elements like the grill and just putting in, tidying up things in place, but we're hoping to be finished within 1 month. So in my role, you can earn the graduate scheme starts at around 26,000, 27,000, and then each grade you go up, then you could earn up to £50,000 within the actual engineering discipline within RCT. So within the role, we've done a lot of CPD and extra training to help develop me. I've done the project management course alongside in the graduate scheme, so that was pretty good for 2 years. And then we do lots of lunchtime seminars and CPD online where we learn with companies that came in and advertised to us, or we watch videos then just to learn and get better knowledge on the new engineering skills and how everything's changing.
So the recruitment process, so everything's done on the online vacancy tool on the website. So if you're interested, have a look. There's always jobs coming up, changes weekly, so always keep an eye on those. And the way it works is that the job description's loaded up with a description of what the job's about. So what can you expect to do in the role? It'll also tell you what the essential and desirable criteria are. I think a key tip for you guys, the essential is what you need to meet the role requirements. The desirable are, we'd like it, but it's not a deal breaker. So give it a go if you don't think you've met all our desirables. Nice little tip. And then to actually do the actual interview process and do the application, we work on what's called competencies. So these are very specific, focused questions that are looking for you to give us one really good example for each type. So how have you communicated with other people? How have you worked well with people? How have you built relationships? So have a look at those job descriptions, focus on those competencies, and you'll be really prepared when it comes to interview.
So the best aspects of my job are probably the construction side of actually designing something and seeing the project through, and then you're able to see it built on site. And then you get to see the benefit then of the changes you've done real firsthand. You get to see the community then benefit from it.
Within my role, we've had quite a lot of significant storm events that's impacted our authority. So everyone remembers Storm Dennis. There's been about 25 storm events in the last 2 years. And the one that really kicked it all off was Storm Bronner and Storm Callum in 2018. So I think there's been a lot of change since then. So we've learned as a team, we work a lot on what we call hydraulic models. This is computer profiles of what we think the water's going to do. But what the storms do, give you the truth, what is really going to happen in these storm events. So we've done a lot of learning, a lot of understanding, and just changed the way how we approach these events. We know the difficulty of managing flood risk management. You can't control the weather, nobody's going to, but what we can do is learn to live with it, and that's how it's really focused our mind, is how would we live with this environment? How do we manage the impact of climate change and that adaptation and change? So yeah, certainly changed our approach. Focus is really on how can we help the communities and mitigate these impacts, but also make them resilient, make them aware of the flood risk. Just changed our focus on how we focus in on that.
So a big weather event like Storm Dennis really does put into perspective how important the working within the flood risk team and working in that sort of area of the council can be, because you firsthand get to see the problems that people face and just having to deal with flooding and all the consequences that come with such a big and a heavy rainfall event. But you really get to see that you can benefit then by the projects we're doing. We can really benefit the communities and do something good.